Imagine a moment what your life would be like if time and space lost their usual meaning. When your mind breaks away from the everyday constraints of the physical world and you begin to experience reality in a deeper, more far-reaching way. That's exactly what happens when you're in the fifth dimension live. But what does that really mean? The universe has brought you here today because you are ready to enter this new level of consciousness, or perhaps already living in it unconsciously. Dr. Joe Dispenza describes the fifth dimension as a reality that lies beyond our usual physical perception. It is a state of being in which we no longer feel trapped by the limitations of linear time or space, but enter a sphere in which everything exists at the same time. Past, present, and future merge into an eternal now. In the 3D world where most people live, physical and mental limitations dominate our existence. We are strongly connected to the material world. We experience time as linear and believe that our body and mind exist separately from everything else. In this dimension, our thinking is often characterized by fear, worry, and control. We are trapped in routines that teach us what our lives should look like, and we believe that we have to face our challenges only with hard work and effort. But the 5th dimension opens up a completely new perspective on life. It is a state of spiritual freedom. Here you begin to realize that you are much more than just a physical being bound to space and time. You are an energetic being that is deeply connected to the entire universe. Instead of believing that you must constantly fight against life, you learn that you are one with the flow of life and that you can actively create your reality through your thoughts, emotions, and vibrations. A first sign that you are in the 5th dimension is the feeling of deep inner tranquility. You may notice that you no longer respond to the same fears and worries that plagued you in the past. Instead of being overwhelmed by external circumstances, you feel an inner serenity because you know that everything that happens is part of a bigger plan. The things that once required your full attention, such as the urge to constantly control or manipulate something, are losing their meaning. You trust in life, in the universe, and in the power of your own spirit. Another sign is that you're starting to experience synchronism. Events magically come together as if the universe responds directly to your thoughts and intentions. You meet the right people at the right time, doors open without much effort, and you feel increasingly carried in the flow of life. This kind of experience shows you that you have entered a new, augmented reality in which you are no longer passive, but actively participate in the creation of your own world. But this is just the beginning. Now that you have a first impression of what it means to be in the 5th dimension, we want to dive deeper in the next chapter. We'll talk about how you experience time on this level, and why it suddenly doesn't matter anymore. So stick to it, because what is yet to come will open up a completely new view of reality for you. In the 5th dimension, your understanding of time is beginning to change. You'll find that the linear time you've experienced in the 3D world is losing its power over you. The 5th dimension is a level of consciousness in which time no longer exists as a fixed sequence of moments, but is perceived as a flexible, stretchable phenomenon. On this level, you feel that there is no reason to hurry anymore. Everything happens in the perfect timing, and you feel connected to a deeper confidence. This trust lets you go of the constant fear of not having enough time or being late. You realize that time is not a limited resource, but something that adapts to your inner state. The more you get involved in the present moment, the more time expands. It feels like you're able to fully enjoy the moment without being rushed by external constraints. Most people in the 3D world are constantly driven off the clock, appointments, deadlines, commitments. In the 5th dimension, however, you learn to live in the here and now. This way of living frees you from the fixation on the past or the future, because you understand that everything you need is in the present moment. You are no longer burdened by remorse over past decisions or worried about the future. Instead, you experience a deep inner peace, because you know that everything happens exactly when it is supposed to happen. A phenomenon that often occurs in the 5th dimension is observed, is the so-called time distortion feeling. If you're fully involved in the moment, you may feel like hours have passed, even though only a few minutes have passed, or vice versa. You realize that your perception of time is much more related to your state of consciousness than to the actual course of the clock. Time becomes a flexible construct that you influence yourself through your thoughts and energy. The more you anchor yourself in this new reality, the less you feel the need to control time. You recognize that everything happens at its right time, and that you can trust the natural flow of life. You leave the hustle and bustle of the 3D world behind and feel that you live in a harmonious rhythm with the universe. Now that you know the meaning of time in the 5th dimension, in the next chapter we come to another important sign that you live in this level of consciousness, the deep inner peace and serenity that you feel, even if life on the outside seems chaotic. Stick to it, because this feeling will bring you closer to the true peace you may have been looking for a long time. In the 5th dimension shows a profound change in your emotional world, an unshakable inner peace and serenity. No matter what external circumstances you encounter, you no longer feel easily upset. It's like you're in a state of constant peace, even when life around you is chaotic or unpredictable. This peace is not dependent on external conditions, but springs from your interior, from a deep connection to your true nature and the awareness that you live in harmony with the universe. In the 3D world, people tend to react strongly to external events. Stress, fear and anger are frequent companions because life in this dimension is characterized by control and reaction. In the 5th dimension, on the other hand, you recognize that you do not have to constantly react to everything around you. You learn to let go and surrender to the flow of life without feeling the need to be in control of everything. This serenity allows you to think clearly in challenging situations and navigate with ease. A strong sign that you live in this higher level of consciousness is your new relationship to emotions. You understand that emotions are like waves, they come and go, but you are the calm sea underneath. Instead of being overwhelmed by your feelings, you can watch them without getting carried away by them. This emotional distance allows you to act more mindfully and make conscious decisions, rather than respond impulsively to challenges. It's like moving through life from a point of inner silence. Even if things don't go according to plan or unexpected events occur, you stay in your center. You trust that everything happens for a higher purpose and that you will always be led, no matter what happens. This inner tranquility brings a new quality of freedom, freedom from the need to control the external circumstances, and freedom from the mental and emotional shackles that once held you captive in the 3D world. This feeling of serenity and peace in the 5th dimension is also perceived by other people. You will notice that your environment will notice how calm and balanced you have become. You radiate a kind of magnetic tranquility that attracts and inspires other people. Often, people who are in the 5th dimension, described as lighthouses, they shine in the middle of the storm and give others orientation and comfort. But this serenity is not passivity. It is an active form of being in which you make conscious decisions, but from a place of peace and trust. You no longer react to the dramas and challenges of life, but act out of a state of inner knowledge and deep connection with your own soul. This new way of life allows you to see the world from a completely new perspective, a perspective in which everything is connected and in which you recognize your place in the big picture. In the next chapter we will go into more depth on another sign that you are in the 5th dimension is alive, the increased consciousness and intuition, which become your constant companion. You will learn how this intuitive guidance will help you find your way effortlessly and always act in harmony with the universe. The deeper you go into the 5th dimension, the more you notice that your intuition is becoming a constant and reliable companion. It's like your inner compass has been sharpened and guides you effortlessly through life. Decisions that were once characterized by uncertainty and doubt suddenly appear clear and simple. You feel an inner certainty that goes far beyond the mind, a deep knowledge that comes directly from your higher self. In the 3D world, most people rely heavily on rational thoughts and logical analysis to make decisions. But in the 5th dimension you recognize that true leadership does not always come from your mind, but from your soul. Your intuition, your gut feeling, becomes your most reliable guide. This inner knowledge makes you feel things before they manifest. You just know which way to go without being able to explain exactly why. Another sign that you are in the 5th dimension is that the world around you is changing. You begin to experience more synchronism, apparent coincidences that suddenly have a deeper meaning. It's like the universe responds directly to your inner desires and intentions. You think of someone, and suddenly that person calls you. You want a solution to a problem, and a few days later the answer falls into your lap. These synchronicities are not accidental. They are evidence that you live in harmony with the higher vibrations of the universe and that your intuition is leading you on the right path. This increased awareness is also evident in your perception of the world. You see things that remain hidden from others. Small details, hidden messages, deep meanings, all this becomes more visible to you. Your consciousness expands, and you realize that behind the physical reality there is an energetic level that connects everything. This level is the key to your understanding of the 5th level. Dimension. You no longer see the world as just a sequence of physical events, but as a network of energy, vibration, and frequencies in which everything is connected. Famous personalities such as Albert Einstein have often pointed out the power of intuition. Einstein once said, "The intuitive spirit is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant." In the 5th dimension, you will learn to appreciate this sacred gift and use it as your primary leader. Your rational mind is still a valuable tool, but you recognize that it only offers a limited perspective. Your intuition, on the other hand, leads you into the depth of being, into areas that the mind cannot grasp. Your increased awareness also opens doors to new experiences and abilities. You become more sensitive to energies, both in yourself and around you. You perceive the vibrations of people, places, and situations more intensely and can intuitively feel what is right for you and what is not. This leads you to making healthier decisions, both in terms of your environment and your relationships. Now that you've recognized this new level of consciousness, you may notice that you're increasingly relying on your intuition to find your way. But that's just the beginning. In the next chapter, we dive deeper into another powerful sign, the experience of love and compassion as your new ground state. So stay tuned, because you will discover how these emotions transform you and your connection to the universe. With your entry into the fifth dimension changes not only your perception of reality, but also your emotional state in a fundamental way. Love and compassion become your natural state of being. You feel a deep, unconditional love that goes far beyond the conventional ideas of interpersonal relationships. It's a love that encompasses everything: yourself, the people in your life, nature, and even the universe. This love is not tied to conditions, it simply flows and permeates everything you do. In the 3D world, love is often associated with expectations, conditions, and the need for reciprocity. But in the fifth dimension you experience love on a deeper, spiritual level. You love without expecting anything in return. You feel connected to everything and recognize that separation is an illusion. This kind of love is transformative because it puts you in a state of compassion in which you not only understand the worries and fears of others, but also feel them. It creates a sense of unity with all living things. Compassion is becoming more and more present in your life. You feel an inner connection with the people around you, regardless of whether you know them or not. This compassion does not arise from compassion, but from a deep understanding that everyone goes their own way and that everyone, no matter how different he or she is part of a larger whole. You do not see the challenges and pains of others as a burden, but as part of their spiritual growth, and this allows you to react compassionately and supportively without losing yourself. Another sign that you are in the fifth dimension is the ability to forgive easily. In the 3D world, we tend to hold on to resentment, anger, or disappointment when someone has wronged us. But in the fifth dimension you recognize that forgiveness is not only important for the other, but above all for yourself. You feel that negative emotions such as anger and resentment only burden you and prevent you from living in your highest consciousness. You understand that everyone is on their own spiritual journey, and mistakes are part of it. This realization allows you to let go and make peace with the past. The Dalai Lama once said, "Love and compassion are necessities, not a luxury. Without it, humanity cannot survive." In the fifth dimension, you understand this sentence on a deep level. You see how important it is to cultivate these qualities in your daily life in order not only to find your own inner peace, but also to increase the vibration of the entire planet. Love and compassion become your natural reaction to all life circumstances, both to the beautiful and the challenging moments. This love and compassion also extend to yourself. You learn to love yourself unconditionally, with all your imperfections. In the 3D world, self-love is often associated with feelings of guilt and self-criticism. But in the fifth dimension you recognize that true self-love is the key to inner peace. You stop judging yourself or constantly striving for perfection, and you begin to see yourself as a perfect being who is on his own unique journey. This new state of love and compassion changes not only your relationship with yourself and others, but also the way you see the world. You begin to recognize the divine in everything, in every person, in every experience, in every challenge. This realization opens your heart and makes you live in harmony with everything. In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into detachment from material thinking, another sign that you are in the fifth dimension is located. You will learn how to break away from external possessions and achievements and focus on spiritual values and inner growth. So stay tuned, because it gets even more exciting. With your transition to the fifth dimension also changes your relationship to material things and external achievements. While the 3D world focuses on the pursuit of possessions, money and status, your focus shifts in the fifth dimension on spiritual values and inner growth. You recognize that true happiness and fulfillment do not come from external things, but from your inner state of being. This does not mean that you suddenly have to give up all material goods, but they lose their value. You understand that the value of a person is not measured by what he possesses, but by the depth of his consciousness and the connection to his inner self. Things like wealth, success, or recognition don't have the meaning for you that they once had. Instead, you value spiritual development, authentic relationships, and the pursuit of higher awareness. In the 3D world, we are often driven by the idea that material achievements make us happy. A new car, a bigger house, more money in the account, all this seems to bring us closer to the feeling of contentment. But in the fifth dimension you begin to realize that all these things are perishable. They are tools that can serve you in your life, but they don't define you. You recognize that true fullness does not come from the outside, but radiates from the inside. Another sign that you are in the fifth dimension is that you detach yourself from the competitive mentality. In the 3D world, it is common to compare yourself with others and constantly feel that you have to be better or have to achieve more. But in the fifth dimension you recognize that each person is on his own unique path and that there is no reason to measure yourself with others. You know that your value is independent of external achievements or what others have achieved. You stop orienting yourself to material standards and instead focus on following your own inner compass. Spiritual values such as gratitude, love, compassion and mindfulness become the cornerstones of your life. You begin to live more consciously, to be present at every moment and to really appreciate what you have. Gratitude becomes a daily practice because you recognize that true wealth lies in the simple things, in the beauty of nature, in the depth of interpersonal connections, and in the moments when you feel connected to your true self. The way you define success is also changing. For you, success is no longer tied to external achievements, but to your ability to live in harmony with yourself and the universe. You feel successful when you act in harmony with your innermost values, when you live your life authentically and when you are able to help others and bring love into the world. The pursuit of more and more material things recedes into the background, and you find fulfillment in the depths of your spiritual journey. A famous quote from Lao Tzu fits perfectly with this idea: "Whoever is satisfied is rich." In the fifth dimension, you understand the meaning of this sentence on a deep level. You experience that satisfaction does not depend on how much you have, but how much you are at peace with yourself and how much you perceive life as a gift. Now that you have recognized the difference between material and spiritual thinking, in the next chapter we leave another fascinating aspect of the 5th century. Dimension light up, the power of your thoughts and the ability to consciously manifest your reality. You will experience how your inner orientation shapes your outer world and how you act as the creator of your own reality. With the entry into the 5th dimension you become aware of one of the greatest powers you possess, the power of your thoughts to shape reality. You recognize that you are no longer a passive viewer of your life, but the creator of your own experiences. In the 5th dimension, your thoughts and emotions are manifesting faster and more clearly than ever before. You feel that what you are focusing on inevitably enters your life, whether it is positive or negative. In the 3D world, people tend to believe that their reality is determined by external circumstances. They often feel powerless and believe that they have no influence on their living circumstances. But in the 5th dimension you become aware of your creative power. You begin to understand that your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs have a direct impact on the material world. What you think and feel emits vibrations, which in turn affect the energy around you and manifest themselves in your reality. A strong sign that you are in the 5th dimension is that you are more aware of what you think and what you are focusing on. You recognize that negative thoughts and beliefs affect not only your inner well-being, but also the events and circumstances you encounter in life. You become more and more aware that you create your own reality through your inner orientation. Positive thoughts, carried by joy, love, and trust, manifest a harmonious, fulfilled reality. Another important aspect is the connection between creativity and manifestation. In the 5th dimension, your creativity unfolds in a whole new way. You feel inspired to create things, be it in the form of art, projects, ideas, or visions. This creative energy flows effortlessly through you because you are no longer held back by limiting beliefs or fears. You recognize that the creative power of the universe lives in you and that you can access it at any time to create something new. In this state, the manifestation of desires and goals is no longer experienced as a strenuous process, but as a natural consequence of your vibrations. You no longer have to fight or compulsively force something. Instead, you let your visions flow into your life with ease. You are aware that your thoughts act like magnets that attract exactly what you are focusing on. This is the true magic of the 5th century dimension. Nevertheless, you will also feel the responsibility that comes with this creative power. You understand that you have to be mindful of your thoughts and emotions because they have a direct impact on your life. This realization not only gives you great freedom, but also a deep responsibility for what you bring into the world. You know that you have the ability to consciously shape your reality, and you therefore choose wisely what thoughts you nurture and what emotions you cultivate. Famous spiritual teachers such as Neville Goddard have repeatedly pointed out the power of imagination. The world is only your mirror, he said, and this statement makes it clear that what is happening within you is reflected in the outside world. In the 5th dimension, this principle becomes a living reality. You understand that the world you experience is a mirror of your inner thoughts, beliefs, and vibrations. Your ability to manifest becomes a powerful tool that you use more and more consciously. Instead of focusing on what you don't want, you focus on what you want to create. You recognize that the universe reacts to your vibrations and always gives you what matches your inner alignment. This new reality opens up endless possibilities for you to actively shape your life. In the next and final chapter we will talk about the connection with the collective consciousness and the oneness with everything. Because in the 5th dimension not only do you realize that you are creating your own reality, but also that you are part of a much larger whole. Stick to it, because this chapter will reveal to you the deepest level of connection. With your entry into the fifth dimension, you come to one of the deepest realizations that human consciousness can experience, the connection with the collective consciousness and the feeling of oneness with everything. In the 3D world, life is often characterized by a feeling of separation from other people, from nature, and from the universal source. But in the fifth dimension you understand that this separation is only an illusion. In reality, everything is connected, and you are an integral part of this great whole. In this new level of consciousness, you realize that each of your thoughts, every word, and every action has an impact on the whole collective. You are aware that you do not exist in isolation, but that you live in a network of energy that permeates and connects everything. This realization brings with it a new responsibility, because you understand that you are not only acting for yourself, but also for the well-being of all living beings. The fifth dimension is a space in which you no longer perceive yourself as separated from others. You feel the deep connection with all beings on Earth and beyond. This leads to a natural sense of unity and compassion. You see yourself in others and recognize that someone else's journey is also your journey. This oneness allows you to approach your fellow human beings with more compassion, understanding and love, because you feel that their experiences are also yours. Another sign that you are in the fifth dimension is the realization that you are connected to the universe and its infinite intelligence. You are no longer a small, isolated part in the great structure, but an essential expression of universal creative power. This connection to collective consciousness allows you to access knowledge, wisdom and inspiration that go far beyond what you could imagine in the 3D world. You begin to feel that the universe is constantly sending you messages and signs to support you on your way. This feeling of unity also extends to nature. You begin to experience the world around you in a new way. Trees, animals, mountains, rivers, everything seems alive and conscious to you. You feel the energy of nature and recognize that it is a mirror of your own consciousness. This deep attachment leads to you being more conscious about your environment and realizing that you are not only a part of the earth, but also the responsibility to protect and preserve it. With the realization of oneness, you also come to a new perspective on conflicts and challenges in the world. Instead of losing yourself in blaming or separation ideologies, you realize that every conflict and every problem is due to a deeper lack of connection. You begin to understand that the healing of the collective lies in the healing of the individual. The more you find peace and harmony in yourself, the more you contribute to the healing of the world. Your own inner work becomes a contribution to the entire collective. This awareness of oneness also brings with it a new way of experiencing love and peace. You feel connected not only with other people and nature, but also with the source of all being. This source, often referred to as universal love or divine energy, flows through everything and gives your life a deep meaning. In the fifth dimension you no longer live from a state of lack or separation, but from a state of fullness and connection with the divine plan. The words of the spiritual teacher Thich Nhat Hanh perfectly summarize this feeling of oneness. We are here to awaken and realize that we are connected to each other. In the fifth dimension, this realization is not just a thought, but a living experience. You feel the connection to all that is, and you realize that your own growth and your own state of consciousness affect the whole collective. With this deep realization ends our chapter about the signs that you are already in the fifth year. Dimension Live. You now have a comprehensive understanding of how this dimension affects your life, your thoughts, your emotions, and your connection to the world. But this is just the beginning of your journey. The fifth dimension offers you endless opportunities to further expand your consciousness and shape your life in harmony with the universe.